right, today we are talking about 21st century skills. So, with technology where it is, we don't need human beings to be doing these kind of repetitive, more boring tasks anymore. We have machines or artificial intelligence that can cover that. So, we need skills that match the needs as students and then as adults in, working with other people and stuff. So, what skills do people need to be productive and healthy members in society? We need to be able to make tough decisions. And we need to get along with others. I added examples like knowing when to ask for help and paying taxes. Let's see if these fit into our skills. So, there's a set of 21st century skills that employers and professors and colleagues and all these people have stated are kind of the four most important skills for the 21st century. This is what adults need. These are the most important skills to do well in the world. They all happen to start with C's, so they're called the four C's of 21st century learning. The first is critical thinking, next is creativity, then collaboration, and finally communication. So first up, critical thinking. So critical thinkers work through their problems. They consider multiple solutions. Things Problems often have different solutions, right? They solve puzzles. They work to find solutions, multiple solutions to complex problems. They explore why things are the way they are. And then our next skill, which is creativity, will talk about how to go about changing that, right? Making decisions based on sound judgments, making connections between things that might not seem like they actually connect, but they might, right? We have to be able to kind of think in these ways and also see many points of view. All right, so go ahead and choose the three things that critical thinkers do. Consider many solutions, maybe jump to conclusions, maybe struggle to make decisions. Look at multiple points of view, make assumptions, and solve complex problems. Next up, we have creativity. So the definition here is the practice of thinking outside the box. So when you see that something has been done the same way, getting the same output every time, the same result, you might think to yourself, I bet there's a better way. And that's when you're going to tap into your creativity. So you could try to practice these skills and to build these skills. You could try doing a boring task in a new way. Think of new ways to look at a problem. Try new things. Walk to class in a different path. Create a better way of doing something. Embrace your inner strengths and create new systems for solving problems. So really quickly, enter in what might be a creative way to stay focused in class. Next up, we have collaboration. And collaboration is defined as working with others toward a common goal. You can see our nice picture of all of the different people putting their work into finishing the puzzle piece or solving the problem, right? And it's so important because most students will have to work with others for their whole lives. There's not really a lot of time in life where we don't have to work with others. Most people work with other people all the time. And the really fun part about collaboration is that, well, at first it can kind of seem scary, but really is that nobody has the same exact ideas on how to solve a problem. And at first, there are kind of like three phases we go through when we're starting to get used to collaboration. At first, it can feel like my idea isn't good because nobody has the same one, right? It feels more comfortable when everybody has the same ideas or when I hear somebody else share the idea that I had also, which can also be frustrating, like, oh, they took my idea. But then the next kind of phase here is that then students learn that they bring something new and important to the table. So maybe you share your idea and your neighbor is like, wow, I would never have thought about that way. That's actually really cool, right? Um, Maybe they didn't expect that from you, right? And so it teaches us that we bring something new and important to the table. And then finally, students realize or people realize that the more ideas are there, the better the solution will be. So it really, every idea matters. Every idea is important piece to solving a problem because when you're openly collaborating with people, you can kind of root out the ideas that might not work for whatever reasons, and you communicate about that and you talk about it, and then you build off of each other's ideas. And the more brains you have actively working on a problem, the more likely it is that the results are going to be really solid. How do you feel when you work with other people? So take this quick poll. I do well when I work with other people. Is it A, absolutely, we do our best work together? Or is it B, most of the time? Most of the time I work well. I do well when I work with other people. Is it C, I do okay but prefer to work alone? Or is it D, like, nope, I refuse to work with others. It is not a thing I do. Looks like we have an answer in, so let us move on. Okay, communication is the last major skill, and it's the ability to express your ideas quickly and clearly. It's really important to communicate and express your ideas in in a short, brief, but clear and concise way. That's a word for kind of meaning that you have the right words and there are not too many words, so you can say things quickly and clearly. Concise, being concise is another word you could use. There are two main types of communication that we most often deal with. There's verbal communication and written communication. And to be an effective verbal communicator when we're talking with others, it's really important to stay on topic and avoid tangents. It's also really great to check in to make sure that the other person is understanding. And it's really great that when we are able to speak directly to the idea and not really get off topic or tangential. You can see in the image of the two people talking, this guy has all these ideas and he's making all these connections. And the person that he's talking to is like, what is this guy talking about? Right? So maybe he's not staying on topic. He doesn't seem like he's trying to check for her understanding. And maybe there's just some miscommunication there, right? But if you're two colleagues trying to solve a problem, it's not going to go well when one person isn't understanding the other, right? The next form of communication is written communication. We're texting, we're writing emails, we're writing papers, we're making plans, we're writing down instructions for our coworkers and our colleagues to use. There are so many things that we end up having to write in the workplace. Um, so it's important to write in a way that others can understand, to use a lot of context. And what that means is that you kind of like paint the whole picture. You don't just say a thing and then assume that everyone kind of knows what you're talking about. It's really important in writing to sort of assume that they don't know what you're talking about and to explain it really clearly and offer context. And then remember that tone is really hard to convey. We've all gotten that text from a friend or a parent or something that just felt hurtful and mean the way it was worded. And then we go to talk to them about it, like, why are you mad at me? Or what happened there? Did I do something wrong? Like, what's going on? And they're pretty much have no idea what you're talking about, and they did not intend for that text or email or whatever it was to come off as harsh as it did. So communication is sort of that last main skill. So now we have a little fill in the blank. So go ahead and fill in the blanks. So in blank communication, it is important to use a lot of blank so that when the author is trying to, so what the author is trying to say comes across blank. In blank communication, it is important to blank tangents by making sure to stay on topic and check in blank to make sure everyone understands. So the correct answers were in written communication, it is important to use a lot of context so that what the author is trying to say comes across accurately. In verbal communication, it is important to avoid tangents by making sure people stay on topic and check in frequently to make sure everyone understands. And last, we have another little board. So write a suggestion or something that you learned or something you found interesting about how to get better at each skill. So, what I added under critical thinking is play logic board games. And for creativity, learn a new roller skating technique. For collaboration, ask for somebody else's idea. And for communication, ask a question starting with, did you mean this? Like, did you mean to say that, you know, my idea was terrible or that it might not work out? Right? Like, what was your intention here? Go ahead and fill those in, and once you're done with that, you will be done with our lesson for the day. Ooh, an idea popped up. Ooh, another fun idea just popped up. Wow, so fun. Yay, collaboration! And am I done yet? Well, sure did communicate there. Okay, great. Thanks for the fun lesson, and bye bye.